teachers who it's said that this teacher is making the same amount of money. That's, that there's no difference whenever this teacher has done all these things. So I will be bringing those things to you. Of course, I make recommendations to the board.
How about the board? Do we get a raise?
I'm going to double your salary.
Mr. Manning.
And also, in addition to this, the information that Mr. Benson gave us earlier tonight, you are working on that. Will that not make a financial impact on how much money we're getting?
Actually, two things happen from that audit. First of all, we do a direct, we pay him to do the audit, and he shows us what we're doing wrong, and we do the training, and yes, there's money in that. But another part of that audit is some of that money can be recovered. And so we're going to put that component on. Let me give you an example of what can be recovered. When he gave you the example of the kids here first period, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Well, if we have in the nurse's records that child was in the nurse's office, we can turn that in and get paid and get money for that. Now, of course, we're not going to do that for one kid, but our numbers are so off that we think it's going to be worth it, and we don't pay him any extra. He takes a %. So we don't really have anything to lose. And we are making some really staff changes and some changes in the way that we operate. So we're talking a lot of money.
I mean, I know, I think one time he mentioned something like $900,000 in a certain area. I mean, I know it may be kind of hard to gauge it at this point, but it will be you think it's going to be a high positive number?
Well, now over time, the greater thing it's going to do is actually reflect what this district is doing. It does not matter how good a campus performs test-wise. If they're at a 7% dropout rate, they're unacceptable. I think Mr. Correa spent extra time on the completion rate that you found every kid. And if he had not done that, this district would have been unacceptable. This is what, one kid? I mean, every kid counts. Every kid can. So we're going to actually be able to reflect what the efforts that we have, that we don't have a 7% or even a 5 or a 4% dropout rate, and we will get the money that's due us up front, and our kids do need to be in school. I mean, for some reason, if they're not there, you go in some of the classrooms, one of the kids aren't there.
Well, also, I guess what I'm asking also is that will that go towards the $3.4 million deficit?
We cannot count. We will not get that kind of money in time.
Okay.
Sir, we're going to turn around. Let me tell you, next month I'm bringing budget to you. In the middle of this, we were going to bring our preliminary budget. Well,
Wow.
we have been working on that preliminary, and part of that also. And there's a method in the madness. One, it seemed like we bring it to you so late, but also for people to get an idea of what that means, that if we don't close some of these schools, this is bad enough what we're going to cut closing. If we don't, what would we be looking at? We'll be bringing per sport, per athlete cost, per fine art, per student cost. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Other questions or comments?
Just to clarify,
Mr. Dupuy.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Talking about the Alta Vista zone?
I really didn't want to talk about that, but
Let me help you out here.
the green and the orange option simplify the presentation but the individual components or features of any one plan are separatable and substitutable into a.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, because here's what I would envision, because we've had some discussion on this. I mean, I would like, with respect to these consolidation proposals, if there are 3, 4 campuses that everybody on this board agrees on, I would like someone to make a motion. If the administration feels like they feel solid that these 3 or 4 there's no discussion on, I'd like a vote on those in toto to make it clear that on 80% of this we're in agreement, and then on those campuses where there may be some disagreement, we'll have to vote individually on those. And so you may have part of orange, as Mr. Manning alluded to last time, that we don't pass because we end up substituting part of green into that, because some of these will probably have to be voted on individually.
Right.
Yeah, they're all interchangeable. You can even go back to A, B, and C revised. Mr. President, what my intention is, if the board accepts this, I know you're not going to act because that's, but if I get the nod from you to go forward with this, we will write the script succinctly and get the PowerPoint together, which is mostly together. We will ask every principal to present this to his or her staff and to his or her PTA. Mr. Caffey will continue to get requests and to seek opportunities to make presentations. And the administrative staff, we've already got teams to do that. We'd like to team up with, give board members the opportunity to work with different administrators. And we'll be getting feedback on the web, in writing, at the town meetings. And then in mid-January, if you guys feel like maybe we need to go out with another plan, we'll have time to do that. We will be getting the input. Anything else, sir?
Other questions, comments, concerns?
Mr. Williams, you've been awfully quiet.
One should always let sleeping dogs.
Okay. Good point. Do any of the six of you have any questions?
I do want to echo what Ms. Tikel said. You guys have done a Herculean effort in responding to questions from board members and coming up with different proposals, and staff's been very responsive. And again, I know everybody on this board has been fully engaged in this process and asked a lot of good questions. And I think, again, it wasn't always pretty to watch probably, but now that we're at a starting point, I'm also comfortable with taking both these proposals out and begin getting, again, just as a starting point. And if we hear another option that's better, your schedule gives us time to get input on that as well, and I think that's the way to proceed. And I think one of the most persuasive things you have told this board is, as a district, like all public school districts, we spend our money on three things: salaries, programs, and buildings.
The big
And
chunks.
if we don't make some of these cuts, we're going to end up having to cut programs, and we're not going to be able to do what we want to do with respect to salaries and the number of employees that we have. And I want to thank you, congratulate you for bringing this forward, because it has not been easy, but it was some needed information and some things we definitely needed to take a hard look at.
Thank you, and know that I don't want us to close any schools. I know you don't want to close any schools. I just don't think we have an option. The state legislature has not left us with an option.
Okay. Are there any other thoughts on school consolidation? There is a monthly and quarterly financial report in the board packet. Dr. Kane, Ms. Davis, is there anything to add to the written report that the board members have received?
Just note that there are the reports for the quarterly reports, the investment report, the athletics report, the construction projects for capital projects, and the care that we've added this year.
Okay, and all those are in the quarterly reports.
Yes.
Behind the monthly report. Does anybody have any questions based on their review of the financial reports? Dr. Kane, are there any announcements?
No, sir.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Atkins,
Mr. Manning.
I would like to take this moment to thank everyone and to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And my most favorite person who watched me on TV all the time, Merry Christmas, Aunt Ruth. I got one thing.
We just ran out of tape, didn't we?
I hope Aunt Ruth heard that. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Cheryl, would you come here for 1 second before?